Hi everybody, welcome back. This is a new class in addition to the 7 core classes, and today we're going to continue our study of landscape painting, contemporary style. Contemporary Chinese painting is different from the traditional one in many aspects. You might notice behind me there's a painting I did, a landscape depicting the Grand Canyon, American landscape. So my first definition of contemporary Chinese painting is the realistic expression of real landscapes or natural landscapes, unlike the traditional imaginary idealism, pyramid, dream landscapes that we talked about in last class. This class will focus on real landscapes, very real, that so inviting that you might want to travel in the painting. Let's take a look at this one. This is a landscape depicting the scene of the Three Gorges of Yangtze River. But first of all, let me point out where is Yangtze Gorges. Here's a map of China. China looked like a rooster. There are two rivers across China from west to east into the sea. The top one is the Yellow River. Beijing is here, and it's in the north. In the south, this is the longer one. It's called the Yangtze, also known in Chinese the Long River, Changjiang, from Tibet into Shanghai to go to the sea. This is Shanghai. I was born in Nanjing, roughly here, very close to Shanghai, and the Yangtze River Gorges is right near here in Sichuan province. Sichuan is the most populated province in China. So Three Gorges of Yangtze is a collective name for three different gorges in the upper range of the Yangtze River. The one I'm doing today is Qitang, the top one in the upper Yangtze. With very steep cliff. I traveled there in early 80s when I had archaeology field work to do in Hubei province, and I traveled up the river to Fengjie, where the White Emperor Tang was, and then the next day I traveled downstream. Another point I like to make before we start painting and talk more in detail about this contemporary style is the perspective, Western perspective, or perspective with Western influence. Because in contemporary painting, we always have the eye level set at a certain line, a horizon line, and you can lead the eye into it. So we call this deep perspective in traditional painting, but it became more often used in contemporary Chinese painting, especially with the format. Now we use framed art instead of the long scrolls, hanging scrolls that would demand high perspective or tall perspective, if you like, and or a horizontal strip that is called as a flat perspective. So you move your eyes from one to the other sections. But in this kind of art, it's very close to Western concept of perspective. Now I'm going to talk about other techniques in contemporary Chinese landscape painting when we do the actual painting next. First of all, you need to do a sketch with little charcoal. The composition, most importantly, is the horizon line. So you need to determine the eye level. It should be under half of the paper. You can use a landscape brush, either the one come with the starter kit, the red whisker one, or this 3 landscapes brush set. Let me start with this one, and then I also try that one. You don't need to load the brush in full. Just about half with a dark gray, mixed with the water in the brush, and then pure ink to the front to do the foregrounds. Usually start from there. This is how I do it. I saw my teacher did it. It's like pushing the brush instead of drag it, draw in a vertical position. You cannot plow in, something like that. So pushing the brush. Or push it down. This is the way to get this kind of coarse line. Okay. It's different than the traditional way. So you want to make the brush split, basically. And until it exhausts, don't reload. When the brush is dark, find a place for that. Or when the brush is wet, find a good place for the wet brush. When the brush is dry, find a good spot for dry brush or thirsty brush. So you don't need to reload until it really exhausts. So basically, the gradation, from dark to light. This bank should be not in a smooth line, but kind of rough. Have to leave white for the clouds at this point. So okay. Now you can add more color on the back. Sometimes, like this one, I show you what I did. This is the back. I did some color wash on the back. It's a very dark purple and very opaque green, but it shows on the front very nicely, right? This is to avoid to cover the ink effects, so you can also do that. But you can stop at any time you feel it's enough. Let's just do a little bit to show you.